Folks, if you thought that what was taking place down in New Orleans with 10 prisoners busting out through the back of a jail cell through a hole in the wall because of a commode being removed, or jumping over a fence, or leaving on work release and not returning, or breaking away during court, if you thought that all of that leaves somewhat of a black eye on a facility, on an area, well, imagine being Kentucky. Lexington man escapes jail by claiming to be brother scheduled for release. You know, there's a lot of different stereotypes that we could make with this headline right here. We're talking about Kentucky after all. A man claiming to be his brother. He might actually, in fact, be his brother. See what I was trying to do there? Forgive me. This is nothing to joke about. Again, if you thought everything that was taking place in all of these other locales was crazy, well, imagine here in Kentucky, they done let this man right out the front door of the prison. Actually, you know what? They did that in Arkansas as well, too. Except that guy was posing as a correctional officer. He was a horrendous monster, and he's still on the run. Here in Kentucky, this man just said that he was his brother, and they released him. Everywhere I've ever been locked up at, they fingerprint you before you get released. Maybe they're not doing that in Kentucky. Who knows? Maybe this man actually had his brother's fingerprints some kind of a way, maybe used like some candle wax or... Look, obviously they didn't fingerprint this guy before they released him. Are they identical twins? How you and your brother both locked up in the same jail? How are you going to take away from your brother's release date? I mean, again, Lexington man escapes jail by claiming to be brother scheduled for release. Imagine what his brother was thinking sitting in the jail cell. Excuse me, officer, it's my time to be released. Buddy, we already released you. Wait a minute. You wouldn't happen to have a brother in here, would you? A search is underway by Kentucky State Police after an inmate escaped the Three Forks Regional Jail on Thursday afternoon. Troopers were told by jail staff that the escape happened just before 5 p.m. on Thursday. According to a news release, Jeffrey Harrison, 43 years old of Lexington, had been inadvertently released after falsely identifying himself as his brother, who was in fact scheduled to be released. This is diabolical in every sense of the word, folks. Harrison is a white man with brown hair and blue eyes. He's 5 feet 9 inches tall, weighing 138 pounds. Kentucky State Police said he was last seen wearing a red jacket, camo shoes, and a black hat. A red jacket, camo shoes, and a black hat? Either he didn't have any pants on or they don't have a description of those. And what a interesting fit check, just to be honest. He might not have had any pants if he got arrested in the middle of the night in his home. Harrison may have left the area in an older model white Subaru. They actually have a still shot of this alleged vehicle, but they don't even know if he actually did leave in this vehicle. This is just a vehicle that was leaving around that time. Maybe they've got footage of this guy getting into the vehicle. If he was last seen wearing a red jacket, I don't know how you would miss that on a surveillance camera. And I don't see that red jacket in this vehicle at all. This is a very grainy shot, but still, maybe he hadn't gotten into the vehicle just yet. Harrison was reportedly serving a sentence for first-degree promotion of contraband. What is that charge even? First-degree promotion of contraband? Contraband is when you get caught with something illegal inside of a jail or a prison. Maybe it pertains to something in the free world. His brother was locked up after all. Did this guy get locked up for trying to bring in some sort of illegal something for his brother? If that's the case, I'm leaving under your name too. Folks, this story took place at 5 p.m. last Thursday, and at the time of filming this, they still have not apprehended this guy. Folks, we've got 2 major fugitives on the run still from New Orleans. 1 massive fugitive hunt still underway in Arkansas. I haven't heard anything in relation to the 3 individuals who escaped in Ohio. That story they are definitely trying to keep under wraps. It's a potential these guys could have been reapprehended. It just didn't make the news, but I'm seeing nothing saying so. The dangerous work release prisoner from Kansas is still on the run. Breaking news to share with you. Had to throw this into this video, folks. One of the escapees we've been talking about as of late has just been apprehended. And it was the guy who was on work release in Kansas serving an 8-month sentence who left one morning to go to work, didn't show up for work, and didn't come back to the jail that evening neither. Escaped Johnson County inmate arrested in Kansas City. Anthony Mansfield, this guy right here, who was referred to as being armed and dangerous after he failed to report back to the facility where he was serving time at, and someone who I had questioned when first hearing that, saying if this guy was referred to as being armed and dangerous because he escaped, well, why would you let him out on work release in the first place? Folks, I don't believe that this guy was on the run for much longer than a week, if even 7 whole days. Again, this guy just got apprehended either today or just yesterday. Kansas City, Missouri, a minimum security inmate who failed to return to a Johnson County corrections facility last week has been recaptured in Kansas City, Missouri. Stuck right around potentially his old stomping grounds, it sounds like. And given the fact that this guy was only serving an 8-month jail sentence, and how much of that sentence did this guy still have left to serve? Even if he had the whole 8 months, it doesn't make any sense to risk this additional time he's probably going to be getting now. What the hell could have been so important for this guy to try to run off in the first place? I hate to say this, but my thinking immediately goes to getting high. Maybe it was a woman, though. Anthony Mansfield, 36 years old, was taken into custody without incident by U.S. Marshals on the evening of June the 4th. That was yesterday, the Kansas Department of Corrections said. He'd been on escape status since May the 28th after failing to report back to the Johnson County Department of Corrections Adult Residential Center following a work release assignment. Worth noting as well, this guy just tricked up the easiest, graviest time you could ever serve. You got an 8-month sentence and you get to do that on work release? You don't even got to sit in the jail all day long. You get to go out, go to work, make money, stack money, and potentially come home with a nice little nest egg. Now, because of the fact that you were placed on escape status, if they give this guy this escape charge, that could carry upwards of 5 years. But he ain't ever got to worry about getting on work release no more, but he's probably going to a maximum security because of this. Authorities have not released further details about the arrest, citing the ongoing investigation. Mansfield had been serving an 8-month sentence for property crimes, including criminal damage, at the ARC, a minimum custody work release facility located in the New Century complex. Yeah, like I said, you ain't got to worry about serving that gravy type of time no more. Not only are you going to be serving additional time, it's potentially about to be some hard time as well. It seems easier than ever these days to escape. So if anybody is sitting in jail or prison right now thinking about doing so, definitely don't do it. But you got to imagine, for anybody who is sitting incarcerated right this second and hearing all of these stories, they're probably looking at this as the sign for them to try to execute on their own something like this if they're thinking about doing so. How you got all these escapes taking place and these guys are actually getting away? That's what's the most crazy about all of this. There's like 10 fugitives on the loose right now, and every week it seems like we've got an additional 3 new escapes or attempted escapes taking place. Speaking of horrendous monster escaping in Arkansas, a story that really needs to get a lot more attention than it has been. How did this guy, a former police chief, sitting in prison for a rape and murder charge, 30 to 80 years roughly, give or take, the amount of time I heard this guy was serving, featured in a documentary as well, Devil in the Ozarks, and a guy who knew how to escape and did so by creating a makeshift prison guard uniform. How the hell did this guy get out? Well, clearly by walking right through the front gate, but also, how the hell did this guy remain and still has remained on the run when allegedly they said it was only about 15 to 20 minutes before they realized this guy was gone? Buddy had to have gotten up inside of a car. Somebody had to be there to pick him up. But they're making it seem like maybe that's not the case. Or maybe that's just what they're letting on for the media, and there really is this nationwide manhunt for this guy. Because everything that they've been showing is them searching the immediate area, which is referred to as a very rural area with caves and woods and a lot of rain that they're saying would help to wipe away the trail of this guy. But there's a story that's come out talking about the prison job that this former police chief had, and that was working in the kitchen. And they're questioning whether or not that could have helped to aid in his escape. Yes, it probably did. I'm going to go ahead and give you my guess on the matter prior to getting into this. But a headline that reads, authorities eyeing whether a kitchen job had a role in the Devil in the Ozarks prison escape. Absolutely it did, without a question. And I'm quite certain the guard that he impersonated was probably a guard that used to watch him down in the kitchen. Buddy had probably been planning this for quite some time. Authorities are looking at whether a job in the prison kitchen played a role in the weekend escape of a convicted former police chief known as the Devil in the Ozarks. His job assignment was in the kitchen. What you mean in the kitchen? There's a lot of different jobs that you can have in a prison kitchen as a prisoner. You could be a cook, a dishwasher, a line prep. You could be maintenance. You could be the juice man. I actually was a juice man one time, many years ago, back when 3-6 Mafia was actually pretty popular. Juice man. I was a juice man. Yeah, there's a lot of different jobs you can have in the kitchen. So saying that his job assignment was in the kitchen just sounds a little weird to me. So just looking to see if that played a part in this as well. The kitchen is divided into 2 shifts of about 25 workers each, according to a 2021 accreditation report that involved an extensive review of the prison. In the kitchen, tools and utensils were stored on shadow boards with proper controls for sign out and sign in of all tools. A check of the inventory control sheet found them to be accurate and up to date. So Buddy didn't even use any tools out of the kitchen or utensils. The kitchen is one of 16 buildings over 700 acres of prison land. The sprawling grounds include a garden, 2 greenhouses, the extensive pasture lands where a herd of more than 100 horses is raised and trained by staff and inmates. Buddy probably got on a horse and his ass is in Yellowstone at this point. This bitch in God's country. A prison expert said corrections officials are likely investigating whether the kitchen job gave Hardin access to other parts of the prison or to tools in the kitchen that could have helped him, including fashioning a makeshift uniform. Oh yeah. If Buddy worked in the kitchen, he definitely had some leeway up in that prison. He probably was an honor prisoner. Hey, you're former law enforcement. Them dudes in there probably rocked with him, meaning the correctional officers. They probably didn't even look twice at dude. Might have even looked the other way. You wouldn't immediately think of a kitchen as a source of a bunch of escape tools, Peterson said, but these people are really smart, and what they're thinking about day in and day out is how they can escape if that's what their motivation is. Local, state, and federal law enforcement are continuing their search for Hardin, and the FBI announced Thursday it was offering a reward up to $10,000 for information leading to his arrest. Champion said officials remain confident that Hardin was in the north central Arkansas area. That's what they're telling you, but they know that man got in a car and he's gone. Or he's on horseback. Crazy to think that there's only a $10,000 reward for this monstrous individual, but yet $50,000 each for Derek Groves and Antoine Massey. Interesting how that works. Folks, I just wanted to bring you guys this information and hope that you found some interest in this. If you did so, please leave a like and a comment on this video, letting me know exactly what your thoughts are. And if you find yourself here enjoying After Prison Show and this content and you're not yet subscribed, please consider doing so, as it would go a long ways to helping to support this channel and also be greatly appreciated. As always, until next time, enjoy life, the free world, never take a moment for granted, and make the most of every day. Peace!